Chapter 68, Tomb Raider Little Loli. This is simply too horrible. In such yin-chi, even if a mortal's corpse is stored for a year, it will be transformed into a zombie. If it is the corpse of a cultivator, it will be even more remarkable. The scene in front of him, Ni Kangchon completely shocked. He originally was still disdainful of Fengdu Mountain, being called the entrance to hell. But now it did seem very likely. With such a thick yin-chi, this place could be completely described as hell. Kid, take a look inside again. The more I look, the stranger it gets. What kind of place is able to produce such a thick yin-chi? At this time, Emperor Dan was also attracted by the scene in front of him. He said with a gloomy expression. Kangchon sniffed and continued to advance. The yin-chi around him whistled, mixed with the sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling, as if 10,000 stern ghosts were hissing. The sharp and ear-piercing sound made one's scalp numb. With the deep into, around the barren land, yin-chi attack, the sound of ghosts crying and howling unceasingly. The yin-chi within the valley was even thicker. The sky did not have any starlight or moonlight shining in. It was pitch black. Kangchon relied on his true essence to coalesce in his eyes, only to be able to barely see a grey and barren scene. He immediately felt a chill. This place was simply hell. Good fellow, this is actually the place where the 9 yin converge. No wonder there is such a thick yin-chi. Right at this moment, Kangchon heard Emperor Dan's exclamation of shock. Keep your voice down. You scared me, Kangchon complained. Even if he was bold, he couldn't help but feel a rush of scalp numbness in such a place. Brat, what are you afraid of? Even if there really is, what is a severe ghost zombie? Is not your opponent come to kill as usual? Dan Emperor laughed and scolded. That's your old man lifting me up. You don't think about it. In a place like this, how afraid of the zombies that are cultivated. This corpse-catching sect is really too scary to let them find a place like this. Kangchon carefully observed the surrounding and said in a low voice, That's true. I'm afraid that the corpse-catching sect's strength is unfathomable, as they were able to find such a place. Strange. This is the territory of the Heavenly Tao sect. Why would they let the corpse-catching faction grow bigger? Emperor Dan was a little puzzled. People's Heavenly Tao sect has so many territories. Where would they notice a small place like the Great Tang Country? And they can only be seen once every 10 years when the Heavenly Tao sect accepts disciples for their grand ceremony. Kangchon guessed. What you kids said this time is somewhat reasonable, Emperor Dan said, still going in. Kangchon looked at the mouth of a dark valley in front of him. The yin-chi inside materialized, emitting a morose aura and violent energy fluctuations, causing a sense of crisis to rise in the bottom of his heart. That should be the entrance to the corpse-catching sect. No need. Hurry up and leave. You've already been exposed. Emperor Dan laughed lowly. Dan Emperor's words fell. Kangchon's heart immediately surged with a great sense of crisis. An unspeakable fear filled the bottom of his heart. He did not care about cursing the Dan Emperor. The whole person was like a sharp arrow towards the bottom of the mountain ******* out. Since you have come, why are you in a hurry to leave? In the senile and hoarse voice, it was filled with infinite killing opportunities. Right at this moment, a figure whose entire body was shrouded in black robes appeared from the mouth of the valley, followed by 3 zombies covered in white hair crawling out from the ground, surrounding and killing towards Kangchon. Roar! The 3 white-haired zombies roared loudly, and unrivaled corpse chi erupted, sweeping through the entire space. The terrifying oppressive force made Kangchon feel suffocated. These 3 white-haired zombies were completely different from the ones he encountered last time. Last time, those 4 white-haired zombies were at most in the early stage of Jiden, but in front of him, these 3 white-haired zombies already had the strength of the 3rd level of Jiden, and each one of them was no worse than Wu Fei, who had fought him yesterday. Coupled with the black-robed man hidden in the darkness not far away, where would Kangchon dare to stay and fight? Pulling his legs and running. Kid, you are too gutless. At least turn around and slash them before running." Emperor Dan teased. Kang Tian ran, while cursing in his heart. This guy must have discovered the black-robed man a long time ago and deliberately didn't tell him. "Kid, where to run?" The black-robed man was chasing after him with 3 zombies, his killing aura spreading for 300 miles. Kang Tian killed and didn't stop, running his body's true essence to the limit, swish and disappeared into the dark night. Black-robed man with 3 zombies turned around several times, but no longer found the figure of Kang Tian as if evaporated. Strange. How is this kid so fast? The black-robed man flew high into the sky with his sword, constantly scanning, but he did not find a single silhouette. His brows couldn't help but wrinkle up. HMPH, a mere Foundation establishment stage cultivator. His speed can't be this fast. It seems that he's hiding somewhere. Immediately notify the other brothers and sisters to search the entire Fengdu mountain. The black-robed man coldly snorted and sent out a burst of red light towards the sky. At once the whole Fengdu mountain boiled up. A black figure came out from that dark valley mouth ****** and searched towards Fengdu mountain in all directions. Seeing this, the black-robed man also searched towards other places. Not far from the black-robed man on the ground, there is a hole about 1 meter in diameter in size, surrounded by messy rocks and miscellaneous, and some other debris, making it difficult to find. This hole led vertically into the depths of the ground. Kang Tian had just accidentally stepped on the air and fell down. Otherwise he wouldn't have easily escaped from that black-robed man's search. Who's so unethical to have dug a hole here? As he fell to the bottom of the cave, Kang Tian fell in a dog's shit, his mouth full of dirt. He climbed up and slapped the dirt on his body, cursing in a low voice. This was really a slip of the tongue, eating 1,000 pounds of dirt. Why does it seem like the dirt was just dug? Kang Tian found that the dirt under his feet was a bit soft, and his heart couldn't help but be puzzled. Only dirt that had been dug not long ago was in such a form. He hurriedly transported his true essence in his eyes and looked towards the surroundings. Suddenly, a thin figure came. The air suddenly appeared a sharp ringing sound, as if it was some kind of sharp blade cutting through the air. Kang Tian immediately cold hairs stand up. A feeling of death approaching hit his heart. In a hurry, he can only transport the whole body of true energy and hit a bully fist with all his strength. But the result was shocking. Kang Tian's all-out strike of the hegemony fist unexpectedly did not repel the enemy. Instead, he himself was sent flying out, although he was not injured. It was enough to show that the person in front of him had a terrifying strength. Haha, what a powerful little girl. 3rd layer of the Jidan stage, and also the 8th turn of the Silver Dan. Even if you use the Heaven Escaping Hand, you are not her opponent right now. The Dan Emperor's surprise suddenly came from his mind. Kang Tian was instantly shocked that the person in front of him was so powerful. At this time, the skinny figure in front of him also stopped without attacking Kang Tian again. Then a bright light illuminated the entire space, but it was the skinny figure that took out a night pearl. "It's you." The darkness was gone. Kang Tian instantly saw the face of that skinny figure clearly, and the other party also saw his face clearly. The two people almost simultaneously out an exclamation of surprise. Kang Tian's face was full of surprise. What appeared in front of him was a little girl in black with short hair. It was the little girl he met in that casting hole during the daytime. The other party also knew Wuxia. In the deep tunnel, the soft light of the night pearl dispelled the surrounding darkness. The two silhouettes faced each other, and between their 4 eyes, they were full of surprise and doubt. Kang Tian did not expect to meet that strange little girl that he encountered during the day here. And even more so, he did not expect that the other party's strength was so strong that it was unbelievable. This black-clothed, short-haired little girl in front of him was almost 15 or 16 years old, and it was really hard to imagine that this little girl possessed the cultivation of the third layer of the Jidan stage, and it was also an 8th turned silver Dan. This was the strongest cultivator of the same age that Kang Tian had ever encountered since he stepped into the cultivation world. "Why are you here?" Kang Tian couldn't help but ask offhandedly. And then he swept a glance around and found that there were also all sorts of magic tools placed on the ground around him. There were compasses, Bagua diagrams, and a big shovel. That shovel looked very familiar. That's right. It's the shovel that this little girl took out during the daytime, when she was quarreling with that old man from the casting pavilion. "You Jew, you are even a grave robber." Seeing clearly the various tools on the ground, Kang Tian immediately stared wide-eyed. Even if he was an idiot, he guessed the identity of this little girl in front of him. But what shocked him was that such a superbly gifted little girl was actually a grave robber, which really subverted his common sense. Interesting little girl. The body Dan Emperor was also filled with surprise. Blah, 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 blah. "This young lady is an archaeologist. You're the one who's a grave robber. Your family is all grave robbers." The little girl was instantly enraged at the words, staring at her to big round eyes and roaring. "What archaeologist? Clearly a grave robber. Little girl, you are so bold. Grave robbing is not even a problem. Even robbing to Fengdu Mountain. Don't you know that the corpse-catching sect is the old ancestor of the grave-robbing lineage? You are really bold." Kang Tian sniffed. "What archaeologist? Lie to hell." The Dan Emperor in the reverse heavenly cauldron also laughed out loud. "Shout, little white boy. Who are you calling a little girl? This young lady is. Forget it. This young lady does not talk to you. This little white boy some insight. You will quickly say why appear here." Almost stirring this young lady's archaeological big event, the little girl glared. Stop. Who are you calling a little white boy? I have a name. It's Kang Tian." Kang Tian hurriedly interrupted the little girl. "HMPH. Who else can there be here besides you, little white boy? In the daytime, I can see you following behind Sister Flower's ass. What is it if you are not a little white boy? I've seen a lot of you little white boys. Every time I see Sister Flower, she's followed by a group of little white boys behind her. I tell you, you'd better put away your little mind. Sister Flower won't be able to look at you, a little white boy." The little girl cannons like a succession of beads and said, looking at Kang Tian with a contemptuous face, You grave robber. During the day, that's your flower sister hard, and together, don't you spit blood." Kang Tian sniffed, his face crawling with black lines. He tried his best to explain. The little girl obviously did not believe, a face of contempt, skimming his lips. "Who are you fooling? My flower sister is as beautiful as heaven. Who do you think you are? Saying such words, it's not too shameful. Why don't you take a piss and look at your appearance? Are you worthy? You." Kang Tian was obviously not a match for the little girl. He had an iron face and was so angry that he couldn't speak. "You what you?" The little girl continued to taunt. "What? Can't say anything. Was I poked and prodded? I've seen a lot of little white boys like you. I don't see eye to eye with you. A grave robber is a grave robber, specializing in these unseemly things." Kang Tian finally found a reason to fight back, pointing at the grave robbing tools around him and said, his chest puffing out. The little girl seemed to be very concerned about people calling her a grave robber, and at the words, she was furious. Her two small tiger teeth were exposed, and said angrily, "This is archaeology. What do you know? Archaeology is a great art. I am digging up those buried arts and passing them on. What a noble thing. You even call it grave robbing. You deserve to die." In a fit of rage, the little girl waved her two little fists towards Kang Tian, and suddenly the wind rose up in all directions. The true essence surged, and a terrifying energy filled the entire space.